I'd like to call this week's version of Kiwanis Connects in order now. Everybody, thank you for watching. Aaron Phillips here, coming to you from Virginia Beach. A cold 26-degree Virginia Beach. That's right, I said 26. I'm selling when it gets to 25. I'm telling you that right now. Don't tell my wife. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a show that is filled to the rafters with guests. That's right. Of course, on your screen to my left over this way is, of course, Doc Val. How are you, my love?
Aloha, and it is a truly fog-filled day, and it is 42 degrees here in Turlock.
Still 20 degrees warmer than here. So
yeah. So I'm not going to brag. You know, it's only a lightweight sweater. So
there you go. Joining us here on the show is our guest in studio with me here today. Her name is Sandra Haas-Radkin. She is involved with the Fighting Blindness Organization. We'll talk about that. And the center square down there, where am I? Over this way. I can never get this right. That's why I can never be a weather person. Kimberly Temple, she is a current Lieutenant Governor, Division 14 of the Capital District here in the East Coast, which is my home division. So she's my boss from a Kiwanis standpoint. She's a Navy gal, and let me tell you, I'm going to have her share with you what her email is because it's a great story, I got to tell you. John is as a Marine back there in Vegas, he loved your email address, Kimberly. I had to it's 55 in Vegas. John, go to your room. Okay, so as always, everybody, thank you for watching us on Facebook. You're watching us mostly on the Kiwanis Connect show page, or you can Frigide. I think Kathy spell check it next time. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, thank you for watching us on Facebook. 2 channels, Kiwanis Connects page or the WWDBTV Las Vegas channel. If you like YouTube instead, guess what? Same 2 channels. No big deal. We make it easy. If you didn't catch it at all, you can always go back to those 4 pages and you can catch the video. Or if you like streaming services, which we all do, go to Roku. If you don't have Roku, you need to, because that's the only way you're going to see Kiwanis Connects out there. Good morning, Douglas. Go there, and in a couple of days, you'll see all the Kiwanis Connect show, the plethora of options that you have, not only of Kiwanis Connects, Aaron's Hour, and Thoughts Can Anywhere, but the plethora of shows that are there as well. John is not in studio today. He is running this from his home studio, so I cannot give out a phone number. I can. Nobody will be there to answer it, however. So just communicate with us in the chat rooms, either on YouTube or here on Facebook. Either way, it'll work. We love you to participate. We got a lot to do today, but real quickly, Doc Val, how was your week since we last hooked up on this show?
You know, there's been so much going on, and I am amazed at all of the love and outpouring. And so I just wanted to do a partial dedication of our show today because this has been on my heart a lot. And this is dedicated and reaching out to Aaron and Myra for Al Strunk. For those of you, especially in the CNH district, you knew Al Strunk. He was my speechwriter. He was one of my closest confidants in Kiwanis, and he passed on Thanksgiving Day. And he is up for Man of the Year in San Luis Obispo County. And I'm hoping that people throughout California will put him up for Man and Senior of the Year because Al was everywhere, and he will be greatly missed.
On a lighter note about Al, I remember the first time we connected with him. You were in a midwinter conference when we did the little early version of the show, and all he did was he popped on, and he was like Wilson. All we saw was this. Remember?
Yes.
We only saw his hat. Right?
Yes.
It was the funniest introduction I've ever seen to somebody. So I didn't get to know Al as person as I would like to, but of course I saw him at conventions before I moved out this way. Great man. Leaving behind his wife, but she will have a lot of support as well. In conjunction with that, here on the East Coast, we're going to dedicate the other half of the show to a gentleman here that was a member of the Chesapeake Kiwanis Club, Richard Pippin, former Kiwanis International trustee, multiple-time lieutenant governor, multiple officer, club builder, you name it. It's probably a shorter list of what he hasn't done around here. And unfortunately, we lost Richard the other day, got the news yesterday. I believe he was, I want to say 81, I believe. But Richard, you'll be missed. And I only known him since July when I moved out here. And he's a great guy, was very instrumental helping me get settled out here in the world of Kiwanis. So to Alan, to Richard, your legacy will live on within Kiwanis. And of course, as part of our show as well. All right, we got a lot to do. So without further ado, many of our guests and folks watching right now, they know what Kiwanis is about. So I'm going to hold Kimberly off just a little bit because I want to give some time here to our guest sitting to my right, Miss Sandra. She's involved with the Foundation for Fighting Blindness. It's a national organization, right? And 1971 was when it started.
That's right.
See, I did my homework. I had nothing to do yesterday. See, the voice, not having a voice, is the worst thing in the world. So, so let's talk about what is the foundation. Let's give a brief history of what it is and what it does.
The Foundation Fighting Blindness is the largest nonprofit that funds research into retinal causes of blindness.
Okay.
And retinal causes of blindness are very severe in that they're non-correctable types of blindness because they involve the nerve cells in the back of the eye.
Okay.
They involve the rods and cones. Now, not to get too technical, but the rods are concentrated in the periphery of your eyeball, and they're used mostly for night vision and for peripheral vision. And the center of your line of sight are your cones, and that is responsible for color vision and most daytime vision. And there's two main types of retinal blinding diseases. One of them is macular degeneration, which starts with the cones, so that people that have that have kind of a donut vision where they can see in the periphery, but the center of their eye is blank. Now, people that have retinitis pigmentosa and the diseases related to that, the problems start in the periphery. They first lose their night vision.
Now, the macular degeneration, that's common with folks who have diabetes, correct? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Mhm.
Yes, the large
You know,
number
but it's
of people get macular degeneration.
Right. Val?
yeah. I was just going to say, it's really important. Most people don't realize that how many people actually are susceptible to blindness, and especially you've met most of the Kiwanians in the Capital District. Okay, if you look at the age bracket of us around the Kiwanis world, our statistics are even a lot higher. And I'm no spring chicken, but I grew up knowing that I might potentially be blind by the age of 30. And if it wasn't for some of the research that your group has been doing and all the technology that's out there, I would have lost my sight. So what you're doing is so important. And so I know as you talk about technical terms, I want everybody out there to know that this affects us, and it is universal. It's not just North America. It is in all the different countries that we touch. So I read, and I want to make sure your organization is global, isn't it? You have
Yes.
other
Yes,
chapters. So where are other places? Because some of our viewers may actually know a little bit about what you're talking about.
I'm not as familiar with international ones, but if you go to the fightingblindness.org, it'll mention all the chapters, and it also shows the research that is funded by Foundation Fighting Blindness. But the foundation funds research all over the world. There's a lot of eye institutes that have been developed worldwide with funding from Foundation Fighting Blindness. And you can actually click on the research and find out where it's being done and read developments all over the world, with retinal cures.
So let me help identify that a little more. There are over 44 volunteer chapters just in the United States.
Wow.
Again, the website, which those of you viewing right now, you can see scroll across the bottom, fightingblindness.org. 800-683-5555 is the number. But touching on what you talked about, and then we're going to go to Kimberly here in a moment. 1 in every 33 people, folks, 1 in every 33. Vegas can't even give you those kind of odds, okay? 1 out of every 33 people in the U.S. are affected by a blinding disease. Think about that. You might have tired eyes at the end of the day, but maybe it's not just tired eyes. There may be a reason. Eyes are not to be fooled with. Diabetes has been in my family. For years, I went to optometrists. When I was diagnosed, after my cellulitis attack in 2013, I go to nothing but ophthalmologists because they give a much better and deeper exam of your eyes than just an optometrist. They look at the retina. They look at everything. So, folks, don't mess around with the eyeball. Speaking of which, I'm going to make this a really bad segue from eyeballs to Kimberly. Kimberly, our Division 14 Lieutenant Governor. And this is great because Sandra was sharing with us before we went on the air, Kimberly, before you jumped in, that there are Kiwanis clubs around the country, maybe around the world, that actually get involved with their vision walks, which is a fundraising PR event. Are you familiar with the vision walks that these folks put on?
No, not at all.
So it's a good learning. This is a good learning
Yes.
show for you then too.
Some of the major cities in the United States where they have vision walks.
I'll highlight some of this in a second, but Kimberly, let's talk a little bit about Kiwanis Division 14. Real quickly, give us just a little bio about your background. What was the aha moment for you that said, I'm going to get involved in Kiwanis?
Well, so for me, I started out in Key Club in high school back in Washington State. So in 79 through 81, I did Key Club. 82 to 84, I did 2 years at Evergreen Circle K and in college. And then when I got out of college, women weren't allowed in Kiwanis. It was still all male. And I found out in 1989 that women had been allowed for a couple of years. And so I joined Apple Valley Kiwanis in Yakima, Washington. But then in 1993, I joined the Navy and promised myself when I retired, I would return to Kiwanis. And so in 2017, I joined the Town Center Club. And I'm currently the president there as well as lieutenant governor for the division. And children have just been, I never had my own children, but I finished raising thousands of them in the Navy. And I decided, that I need to make sure that the children of the future have every possible opportunity.
So what was your position in the Navy?
I started out a 30-year-old seaman recruit. In 7 years, I made bosun mate chief. And then at 11 years, I became a lieutenant commander. I became an ensign, and I retired as a lieutenant commander 26 and a half years later.
Wow.
So I teased it at the beginning. So given that history, what is your email at? You don't have to get the whole thing, but what is the handle of your email? I love the email. You got to listen to this, folks. God, what is it?
It's bosun bitch.
Oh my, I love it.
So the first time she gave me that email, I'm like, am I writing this correctly? Am I hear that right? But no, that's
Al would love your email address. He wrote a book called Pacific Sail, and it is about multiple generations of Navy sailors and how they're interconnected. So we're going to send you a book of his, and that fits so well.
there you go.
Well, I'm actually 6th generation Navy. My cousin makes 7th generation.
Wow.
And when I commissioned, I was only one of 4 females in the entire Navy that was doing my job as a bosun. And
wow.
So, yeah, in fact, when I retired, I wanted someone to represent every rank that I held. And I was getting really irritated that I couldn't find a lieutenant commander. And then it dawned on me, I'm the one and only. So I had to get a different rate.
I want to go back as lieutenant governor and president. How hard are you on yourself when it comes to meeting deadlines as president? Do you yell at yourself or how does that work?
Well, now the Navy actually made me very organized. Okay. And so I have a calendar for everything that has to do with my own club, personal, and all the other clubs in my division.
Gotcha.
And all my deadlines, I put them 2 weeks ahead of time and just keep going, hey, what about this? What about this? You owe me. Come on.
Speaking of which, we have a commercial for Division 14 that's in the works as soon as everybody gets what they're supposed to. Anyway, before we go to break, Kimberly, how many clubs are there in the division and what states make up the Capital District?
Okay, so we've got 11 in Division 14. And so you've got Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. So that makes up Capital District.
That's a lot of geography there, Doc. Val. The only difference is we don't have Hawaii, Val, and you do.
Yep. So, and we're not giving them up.
I think geographically that would be kind of hard anyway for us to get. I don't know. Maybe we can trade it for division to be named later. All right. With that, we're
Western Caribbean, and Canada.
Oh, that's true. There you go.
And so there are all kinds of interesting combinations in Kiwanis. And so
that's a good point. Although with all the earthquakes you guys are getting in California, you guys can keep all that side of the world. Anyway, folks, we're going to step aside for our first break of the show. We got a lot to do, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health. Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connect.
I just wanted to say something because we haven't said this. Herman Platsky has sponsored the first Impact Club for the California, Nevada, Hawaii district for the International Children's Fund's Possibility Project. And so I wanted to do a shout out to Herm and the 29 Palms Club. Not only did they pledge $500 per member over 5 years, they paid off their commitment immediately. So I just want to do a big shout out to Herm because for every $2.50 that is donated to the Possibility Project, there's another child that gets support by a Kiwanis Club somewhere in the Kiwanis world. So I'm just like so excited. And be able to do that. You know, we do a lot of fundraising in Kiwanis. And so I know if you were watching the show or you're listening to podcasts, you're like going, wow, they make a lot of money. Well, we connect with people because it takes resources to actually help kiddos. And like with the Possibility Project, we want to help 10 million people. I know that with your Fighting Blindness project, that you want to help millions of people. I'm like pulling my cheat sheet. About how many millions of people that you impact. And so you're really good at fundraising. And I would love to be able to partner some of the Capital District clubs with you. I think that's why Kimberly's here. So we can put the bug in her ear to be able to get you involved in that, Sandra. But what are some of the fundraisers that you do?
Well, first I want to thank you because we've had vision walks now around the United States once a year, which is one of our major fundraisers. And Kiwanis clubs and individual Kiwanis members have been involved for years in supporting the Vision Walk, which this year locally in Virginia Beach will be at Mount Trashmore on April 5th. But if you go to the fightingblindness.org website, it'll list all the websites, all the different vision walks and the locations. And most major cities in the United States do have
You can keep talking.
vision walks.
You
Vision
know,
walks. So all
that's
the major
fabulous.
metropolitan areas.
So let me share with you. Sandra came very well prepared.
All right.
So I'm just going to highlight the ones that are in our general area here and out on the West Coast in the list that she provided.
I want to do a tie-in really quickly because
yeah.
April 5th is a magic date out in Calneva.
What is that? What day is that?
That's our Kiwanis One Day.
Oh.
And so if Kiwanis clubs could partner and do vision walks.
Now, the vision walk dates are a little different from city to city, but in the Virginia Beach Tidewater area, it's April 5th. But on the website, it'll show the dates of different vision walks in different cities.
So, you got me thinking, and I know that you've got a list there, Aaron. So
yeah, and I noticed when we mentioned the date, Kimberly quickly grabbed a pen. I saw the pen jump up on screen there. So I know, right? I know those signs. So in the areas that we're talking about, we have Baltimore has, Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area, LA, San Diego, San Francisco, North Carolina. And I bring that up because I learned this not too long ago. We're only about 30 miles from North Carolina, for crying out loud. I didn't realize we were that close around here. And Washington, D.C., plus a whole plethora of cities from coast to coast. But you nailed it on the head. And that's where I think the tie-in with Kiwanis and this organization can work is these vision walks. And with April 5th, if it ties into that, whether it's this event or whatever, I think that's a great opportunity where, Kimberly, it sounds like for an event like this, all we really need to do is get some teams, raise some money for walking, and easy peasy, service project for this event for Kiwanis, right?
It'll also be good to partner up with the key clubs because they're always looking for things to do around here.
That's an excellent idea. And I want to say a lot of the teams for Vision Walk, they print T-shirts so you can have like a Kiwanis team and you can represent, the Kiwanis Club and make up, some of them make up catchy titles with.
We don't like shirts around here, do we, Val?
Swag.
It's
like I got my T-shirt.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
We're not big on swag.
That would be.
I do want to mention, in case you didn't see it pop up, Ellen Haas Peterson, and I'm presuming your sister. Okay, thank you, Ellen, for sharing this. FFB funds research projects at institutions, eye hospitals, and universities in many countries, including Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, England, Finland, France, Germany, Israel, Italy, Mexico, the Netherlands, Poland, and Switzerland. So that's a very long list of how international this organization is since 1971, making that impact of 53 years, 54 years, if my math is somewhat correct. It better be after having a degree in college in math. Okay, so I think that's a great tie-in, and this happens to be in happenstance. So I'm going to ask Sandra real quickly, give us a couple of details that maybe, how about myths that people out there may have about eye issues and things like that the organization says, no, that's not right. This is the case. Talk about some of that information, if you would.
Well, that's interesting you say that because I was talking to the local president of the Foundation Fighting Blindness Vision Walk, and she said, be sure to mention that people think of blindness as an absolute thing. And there are so many gradations of blindness, and people suffer if they have blindness and very often unrecognized. I mean, I could tell anecdotes of problems my son had with professors that didn't understand he couldn't see the overheads. And that was 20 years ago when he was in college. Also, with his loss of peripheral vision, bumping into people. And Deborah told me, she misses the central vision. So often she can't recognize people and they don't know that she has a blindness problem. These problems get progressively worse, but even in their moderate phase, they put in a lot of obstacles for people.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, Val. Could you take it for a second? Because my throat just...
Absolutely.
Don't talk right now.
And I think that's one of the things, I was just having the conversation with my husband a little bit earlier. I used to where I was legally blind without my glasses, and they could only correct me to 2060. And so and I started wearing contact lenses at 7.5. And that was a correction up to 2050. And so in most states, being up to 2050 in one eye allows for you to be able to drive. And people didn't understand, when I would say, I see like a Monet painting. And so that's what
Like
things look
matters
like
a
to
lot.
me.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been really fortunate that I've been able to have several surgeries that have made a difference. And I do a shout out to Los Altos Eyes in California because they're phenomenal. And they gave me my sight. I now see 20/30 in both eyes. The thing is, it's like without the research and without all of the different walks and things that you do, kids are not going to have this opportunity. And more of our kids are being affected. So what kind of messaging do you guys do and education do you do for kiddos?
One of the main breakthrough studies of the last couple of years was with a childhood severe vision disease called Leber's congenital amaurosis. And this is one of the first studies of any type of medical disease problem where they were able to locate the gene that people inherit that have this type of childhood retinitis pigmentosa. And they were able to put proteins into the genetic pattern to alter and alleviate the degenerative path of Leber's congenital amaurosa. And with that, I'd like to say one more thing. Why vision research is so important, not only because of the millions of people that suffer from blinding diseases, but also the eye is like a window into your health, and it can show you what is happening neurologically in your body. And if some of these techniques that they're currently working on for blindness work out, meaning being able to stop cell death of nerve cells and neurons, that these can be applied to other fields such as blindness, dementia, other neurological degenerative diseases. And when they try a treatment such as proteins in the eye or transplanting altered stem cells from the person's own body, but trying to rejuvenate stem cells and implant them in the back of the eye, this gives people a window into how to treat other neurological problems such as spinal cord injury.
I'm going to go on a stretch here, and I'm going to throw it back to Kimberly with this really interesting segue that I'm about to try to put out there, because as I'm reading some of the statistics and information, these things, we talk in Kiwanis about how people just don't get involved. The older we get, they can't get out, they can't do things. So I want to share this, and I'm going to bring it all the way around back to Kimberly for a moment. In the United States, low vision is a term that denotes a level of vision that is 20/70 or worse and cannot be corrected by lenses or glasses. In the U.S., you are considered legally blind if your best corrected vision is 20/200 or worse. So what this means is very simply this: if you have this kind of bad vision, you could see something 20 feet ahead of you that someone with better vision or normal vision would normally see at 200 feet. Yeah. So think about that: 200 feet to 20 feet. Low vision has been recognized as one of the top 4 contributing factors for loss of independence. The others are dementia, loss of mobility, and incontinence. Now, let's bring this all around. The older we get, the eyesight goes. So, Kimberly, how do we help our members who are a little more advanced in age that have eyesight problems but want to still continue being active in Kiwanis?
Actually, that's a good question because I have no idea.
Shuttle service. We need an Uber for Kiwanis. We need a Kiwanis Uber.
Volunteer drivers.
Yeah, volunteer drivers. Exactly.
Yeah. And then, it's like, I was going to share with you, Kimberly, I think that people are so embarrassed to even let other people know. And so that might be one of those things of people on your boards volunteering. It's like we're going to do it more like we're saving saving the ecology. And so instead of all of us driving independently, we're going to carpool to a service event or whatever. And so then that takes off the stigma of people saying, well, I'm not able to drive. I've lost my license because I've lost my vision and those kind of things.
And
So maybe it's encouraging.
By the time people are 80 years old, almost a third of people have age-related macular degeneration. So with people living longer, it just becomes more and more prevalent. And it really has a lot, as you said, to do with the loss of independence.
I don't know if anybody else has this problem. When I don't have my glasses on, I can't hear anything. Are they tied together? I don't know if there's a connection. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure. See, I got Val started right away. Look, see, I've already lost her and I haven't even done bad dad jokes yet. So, Kimberly, I want to ask, let's talk a little bit about Division 14 real quickly. Let's highlight some of the things that are going on in our division that some of the clubs are doing to help their local communities. Can you share just some of the stuff that you are aware of by what the clubs are doing here?
So we have a lot of really good projects going on. There's numerous clubs doing the Ronald McDonald House where they cook meals for the families of children that are in the Ronald McDonald House going under, chemo or surgeries. Almost every Kiwanis club has a key club. A couple of them have builders clubs. I believe there's only one Circle K club at ODU. There's a lot of the Salvation Army, Angel Trees, Bell Ringing, For Kids, Seton Youth Shelters, Scouting. I mean, I could just keep going on and on. There are so many great projects going on. Something else I'd like to mention is that, so as a division, all 11 clubs, we're working on trying to increase our membership by at least 5 per club. But I do have 5 clubs that are not at charter strength, which is 15 members. And so we're really trying to help them get back up to charter strength. A couple more projects that I'm trying to get together with all the clubs is to maybe come up with a float that we can put in the parades, in our local parades, so that we can hand out literature to adults and candy to children so that everyone can get a better understanding of what Kiwanis is. And then I've got all the clubs are trying to identify a park that has no playground equipment, and we want to fundraise and get a all-inclusive playground brought to an area that has nothing. And so those are some really good things I'm really proud of our area doing.
Right on. And I know Chesapeake, we've added some members this year so far. I think this past Wednesday we inducted, or I know the board voted on at least another new member. So I think Chesapeake should be close to that 5. And I think Virginia Beach also has a couple. So I know the 2 clubs that I'm involved with has been adding members, which is great to see. Kiwanis Connects. Wow, who's typing in our name? There's an anonymous hacker in our program. Are you partnering with local Lions Club? Any suggestion is that for Sandra, or is that for Kimberly there, Phantom Kiwanis Connects person?
I was thinking that it was for all, but that was one of the things that I was hoping that Kimberly, I don't know if your clubs are doing partnerships with some of the other service groups in your area and in your division.
Well, I know that there's a week that they partner with the Lions. And I haven't personally participated in that yet, but I know it's out there, and I plan on trying to do that with this incoming year.
Cool.
Does the blindness organization work with any of the other community service groups out there, like Lions
Lions
Rotary?
clubs often
Lions
show
Club
up
does
sponsor a team.
they do the glass thing too, right?
Yeah.
They've done that for a long time, where you take old glasses, you can donate it to the Lions clubs, right?
I think that years and years ago they made a commitment to Helen Keller, who was deaf and blind,
yes.
to work toward blindness, and they usually do at least some project involving, helping the blind.
What a great cue that is. In 1925, Helen Keller spoke at the Lions Club International Convention, challenge Knights of the Blind. Quote,
Yep.
will you not help me hasten the day when there shall be no preventable blindness? This was her challenge to Lions that day in 1925. So it sounds like there's great opportunity here. And that's what I love to present, what we do here on the show. Because I think Kiwanis, listen, for as long as the three of us have been involved in Kiwanis, we know that a lot of clubs get into the same routine of same events year after year after year after year after year after year after year. And sometimes we need to inject some newness and freshness and some different ideas. To me, I think, at least locally, getting involved with this organization with their walk for fighting blindness in April, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but I think it would be a great opportunity for all of our clubs here to get together. Mount Trashmore is about 2 miles from where I live. And yes, I've spoken about that. It's an old landfill that they've done a beautiful job turning into a park. On 9/11, my CrossFit group was out there. We were running the steps 110 times up that Mount Trashmore hill to honor the number of flights. I only got through about 90 before my hour was up, but that was about 89 more than I thought I would do. But anyway, I think it would be a great idea. It's a new project. It's a new idea probably for most of the clubs and maybe most of the clubs around the country. I think it would be a great idea for us to take a look at as something to do for that. All right, Val, I'm going to step aside a little early for our last break of the show, because this way we have plenty of time to wrap up with Sandra and Kimberly. And, of course, we got Kiwanis Club Wow Moments. And, of course, the ever-popular, God only knows why, Bad Dad Jokes football theme today coming your way on the other side of the break. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. John, take us a break. We'll be right back.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
Thanks to the efforts of the Cal Neva District of Kiwanis, there's been a Kiwanis presence in the Rose Bowl Parade for more than half of the New Year's Day Parade since 1921. In the past, our efforts were funded through club sponsorships, outside sponsorships, by the generous donations from Kiwanis members or club foundations sponsoring riders on the Kiwanis float itself. The District Rose Float Committee handles fundraising, and the Kiwanis Rose Float Club secures and organizes the volunteers. When Kiwanis International wanted to sponsor a large portion of our float, momentum from our clubs was lost due to any fundraising. The time has come to have our clubs increase their involvement in the fundraising efforts. But the Rose Float Kiwanis Club needs the help from all Kiwanis clubs, its members, and businesses to answer the call for support. Visit our Kiwanis Rose Float page on Facebook. Help make sure that Kiwanis International will let the world continue to smell the roses for a long time.
All right, we're back. Although right now I couldn't smell a rose if it was stuffed up my nose right now because lovely winter congestion. Every year, it's like when the weather changes, the body says, aha, I'm going to get you. All right, well, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. We are coming around the clubhouse turn here. Kimberly Temple, Division 14 Lieutenant Governor here of the Capital District, and to my right, Sandra Harden. She is involved in the Fighting Blindness Foundation for Fighting Blindness organization, which is international since 1971. So while we're on commercial break, we're going through our notes, and there's a couple of things that I think we want to stress to come out. And we talk about all these retinal diseases and whatnot, and there's a lot of familiar things out there. But I want Sandra to kind of go over the different types of diseases, because there are some cures and some Band-Aids for some of these things. I wanted to talk about that. And then, for all you sci-fi junkies, let's talk about the future, about the possibility of chips in the eyeball. Ooh, like data. Okay, what you got there? Let's talk about that.
Well, I wanted to first differentiate retinal blindness from other types of blindness, because there are treatments for things like people who get damaged corneas, which is the clear layer that goes over the center of your eye. And there are corneal transplants. There's also for people that have cataracts. Everybody at this age knows somebody who has had a replacement lens. And that shows progress in vision, but it doesn't affect people that have actually nerve cell damage at the back of their eye. So Foundation Fighting Blindness funds the vast majority of this type of research over the years. And one interesting thing that has come up lately is what's called the bionic eye. And I guess about 10, 15 years ago, it got a lot of publicity, and it has helped some people that lost like all their vision. So really didn't have anything to risk by having a computer chip put in the back of the eye. And with this, some people have actually had some improved rudimentary vision with a computer chip at the back of the eye. And there's two big factors, whether you talk about the computer chip or whether you talk about implanting new cells into the back of the eye. You have to worry about connectivity with your brain to make sure that it works, that it connects to the area of the brain that can interpret vision. And the second thing to be concerned about is immunological rejection. Will your body like throw out these cells they're trying to introduce? Will your body reject the computer chip? The computer chip is interesting. The bionic eye has actually a camera mounted on glasses, and then they put the camera links to a computer chip in the back of the eye. And so for people who are profoundly blind and really have no cells to lose, this is something that has been attempted and they're working on.
I immediately thought of Steve Austin, the $6 million man.
Hey, actually, Aaron, next Wednesday and the following Wednesday, I'm having cataract surgery.
Oh.
And so one of the things that they offered me, but I declined it, was to put lenses in that when it starts to degrade again, I just would go in and they would use lights to recalibrate my eyes back to 20/20.
Wow.
But it was like $6,500 out of pocket. The insurance doesn't cover it. And so I was like, maybe that's a little too new to play with yet.
Wow.
You know, Catherine Bales Lang out in Monterey, California, had that exact procedure. And I would say that you're making a good decision because it's taken over 15 weeks for them to do the light adjustments. And so I think waiting on that technology is a good idea, especially if you have to pay out of pocket.
I would also want to ask, I'd also want to make sure that my Wi-Fi connection will benefit too from that thing in the head.
Me too.
Like, right.
But I do have the lens implants. So when I got my cataract surgery, I'm always special. I'm part of that 1% of everything. And so the first cataract surgery, I had the lens implants for both eyes. And then lo and behold, I thought my glasses, I had readers, and I thought the prescription was off or something. Went back and discovered that I had a secondary cataract in both eyes. So I had to have them redone. And it's part of my degenerative eye diseases. But most people don't realize that 1%, some of these things don't work the first time. But go, because there are procedures, all this research that's being done that Sandra, your group supports, it works, you know. And I look at some of the technology that's come out of the fighting blindness. They actually have something that's this size. My cell phone, if you can see it, that's that size that can go to a baby that's 1 year old or older and hold it up in front of their eyes, and they can tell the field of vision.
Wow. There's also a program I've heard about that if you're in a store, you can't read a label, or if you're lost somewhere, there's supposed to be an app you can put on your phone where people, volunteers, anybody on the internet can help you, can sign up as a helper to help people with low vision that are having a problem navigating. The other thing I want to quickly mention is there's something called Retina Tracker, where a person can register what type of retinal disease they have, and they can be informed if subjects are needed for a study with their type of blindness, or they can get information about what research breakthroughs there's been with now, even though, you know, macular degeneration, very common term, 1/3 of people over 80 eventually end up with age-related macular degeneration. Actually, with all of these retinal problems, it turns out that there's many different subtypes. And so they offer through Foundation Fighting Blindness, they offer free genetic analysis. If you have a blinding disease, they will pay for you to get a genetic profile to show you which genes are involved, what mutation is causing the blindness. And that's called Retina Tracker. And you can look it up on the Fighting Blindness website.
Love it. Chief is in the chat room. My dear friend Chief, also a Navy man. So Kimberly, there's two of you here now. You got two Navy people. Chief is out there. So, and this message came up there. He says lens implants are great. Had mine done at the by the Air Force out at Nellis Air Force Base there in Vegas. So Chief, good to hear. I'm going to message you later. I want to know how you're feeling, bud. Squids, cut that out. Just now, Val, you mentioned KI has health grants. Can any of these things, are those grants individual grants for people to get support like this?
No, actually they wouldn't be, but they would be for the Kiwanis Club to do some kind of process. Maybe it's educational, maybe it's a hands-on demonstration, or helping support a large group study. So maybe it's your division, Kimberly, that wants to come together and do something that's focused on vision on April 5th or whatever day. And you need some extra support. There are grants because we have 3 different pillars. One is health and nutrition. The other one is literacy and education. And the last one is supporting leadership development for our students. And so that health and nutrition area doesn't get nearly as much of this kind of request. So this would be very special. And especially if you're granting and saying, we're partnering with the Lions clubs in our area, and when we're partnering with the Fighting Blindness. And so these partnerships add credibility to those kind of grant requests. And maybe it is when you have your all-inclusive playground that you're including for items for children with low eyesight. So that's the touch component and the sound component.
Whoever wants to come to any of your meetings, the Foundation Fighting Blindness volunteers, and I've been one of them, will go to Kiwanis Club meetings or Lions Club meetings and talk about it. And Deborah reminded me to say that there are these little paper glasses that simulate macular degeneration and simulate retinitis pigmentosa, show you how the visual field is cut with these different diseases. And we've brought them when we've spoken at various meetings, various venues.
Well, I know that we've barely scratched the surface in all of this with Sandra, so I'm sure somewhere down the line we'll have her back to maybe dig a little deeper in this, and maybe you can bring a pair of those glasses.
Okay.
I just have to take my glasses off, and I know what it's like to not be able to see very clearly. That's all. I can simulate that anytime I want to. Real quickly, Kimberly, let me come back to you. Anybody who's watching, this is something we always talk about. People may be on the fence about becoming part of Kiwanis. Where is the best place for Division 14 information? I know they're on Facebook, but what's the best way folks can get information about the clubs in the area? Come check out what's happening. So share that.
Well, actually, they go on to Google and just type in, Kiwanis Club Locator, and it'll pop up the link, and you plug in how many miles you're willing to, travel, and it'll give you all the different clubs in the area. And if they get onto mine, I actually talk to them about all 11 clubs. I try to find out where the best fit's going to be. If they want to do it during lunch where they're working, or if they'd rather catch an evening one at night on their way home, or if they prefer to start the morning. So and then depending on their age group and everything is what I do to help make them determine which one will be the best fit for them.
But I do want to caution, and I say this to anybody that's considering Kiwanis. Join Kiwanis because it's the right thing to do to help your community. If you have a business, that's great. But we are all about giving to the community, building relationships, and then we worry about business relationships after that. This is not BNI. This is not LaTip. This is not a typical business networking group. If you're going to join Kiwanis thinking you're going to get business first, do us a favor, do yourself a favor. Don't look into Kiwanis. Do it for the service to help others. Then because of those relationships, people then will begin building those relationships with you from a business standpoint. So I just want to caution people when they look at Kiwanis. So that's just my little 2 cents. Chief, I saw your message. It's a good thing I love you, brother, and I don't have a hat nearby, so I can't help you. Okay. With that, do you have? Oh, yeah. I was just going to ask you, Val. See, you're jumping the shark on me. You know, I was corrected by John. John, I didn't mean to say that. I apologize. All right, John. It is time now for Kiwanis Wow and Mental Health Moments. John, take it.
Woo! I look like Aaron almost fell out of his chair with this. Wow.
I'm helping. I want to help Chief. Chief's complaint. So there you go, Chief. Good. Remember good humor? Choo choo, Charlie.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. You know, I actually, you know me, I'm like one of those globe-trotting kind of Kiwanians, and the best project that we have, bar none, is I think our Rose Float and the Rose Parade, International Rose Parade. And so I wanted to say congratulations to Lisa Streech. She's representing the Kiwanis Club of Granite Falls, Minnesota. Lisa is the president-elect of that club. She won a seat and will be riding on the Rose Parade.
Woo-hoo!
Kiwanis Rose Float on January 1st. And so will Jamie Kaufman. She's representing the Ohio district. She was the 23-24 district membership coordinator. And there's one more seat that's going to be drawn from all people that are inviting and new members and opening new clubs. And so they're going to draw one more member before the 10th. And somewhere in the Kiwanis world to come and be a part of the Rose Float. So I'm very excited to be able to do that.
Nice. Congratulations.
And, yes. And so my wow moment is that, you know, that we normally have about 4,500 volunteers that work on that over the next couple of weeks. And we need people. If you are in the Pasadena area in Southern California and on a weekend, please volunteer for 4 hours. Come out and help us. For some reason, people are not signing up the way they used to. And we've got the best theme ever. It's called Being Together. And so it is literally the buzz bees. And we have honey that we're giving away and all kinds of fun stuff. And so you can also come to our International President's Visit in support of the Rose Float on December 28th. We only have 64 tickets left for that event, but anyone from around the Kiwanis world that wants to come to see Lee Kuan Yew and fellowship with people, it's going to be at 11 o'clock in Pasadena. So that's my wow part, because I can't believe it's almost here. It's just like, and
seems like just a year ago you were doing a live feed from there with the international president at that time at Hell Week.
And I'll be doing that again on the Friday right before the event with Lee Kuan Yew, and he actually wants to be the whole show, and so I'm trying to figure out how to make it all work, because he is fabulous, and he's where I got the idea for wow, because Lee Kuan Yew is all about the wow.
Okay.
And so
well, you better come prepared then.
Oh yeah, he is amazing. And so I also wanted to switch gears just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And part of that reason that I want to switch gears is because we have started the season of thankfulness. And when we started on Thanksgiving Day in North America, we started basically a season of 7 weeks of holidays, 7 weeks of stress, 7 weeks of present giving, all different kinds of holidays, all different religions, all different backgrounds. And around the world, there are all different kinds of celebrations, including in the Philippines, where they have started their process of observing 25 days of Christmas. And I mean, literally, there's something going on. There's a festival almost every single day with our Filipino friends. And so I just hope in your mental health moment that you take a minute to realize that there's gratitude in every day. Every day may not be perfect, but there's at least one perfect moment that you can be thankful for. And so you may feel overwhelmed, and that's okay. As long as you know that you're special and you have that one moment of gratitude each day. So that was my
Absolutely.
mental health.
Well said. Well said. Nicely done. Yeah, you mentioned, I forgot to mention this. So you mentioned the Possibilities Project earlier in the show. That's something
Yes.
that we do. Just want to remind everybody that the Voice LLC, my company, has pledged to do a commercial for them that is going to be used for public awareness. Now, 4 individuals have offered to donate to support that with me. And I want to thank Douglas, and I want to thank Maritza and Herman and Kathy Zemansky. So if anybody else would like to donate and chime into that and support the efforts of that commercial, that's going to be a $350 commercial with $50 off the top going to the Rose Float Kiwanis Club, hence the purpose of that as well. So if anybody else is interested, would like to help support that, chip in a little something to the kitty, that's fine. No obligation to. But if you do want to, just message me and I'll be happy to do, we'll straighten something out. But I want to thank those 4 for support thus far. We still have time because there'll be time before the commercial's needed. I know Kimberly's working on a commercial for Division 14, so we'll be hearing some stuff there for the Capital District for the division. Okay. I think without further ado, as we are running out of time, it's time now for some football-related bad dad jokes. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Okay, now, bad dad jokes, football related. Why? My Penn State Navy Lions going up against Oregon. Okay. For the title for the Big Ten. So I was in a football mood. So if you don't follow football, I realize some of these may kind of go over your head, but I apologize. So here we go. Here's number 1. You ready, Val?
Ready.
Is Andy ready? Although I don't know if I really care after his comment earlier today.
I think it was Go Ducks.
Yeah, I know. All right, here you go. Why didn't the dog want to play football? Because it was a boxer. Come on, that was a good one. Come on, Val. You can let it out. It's okay. You can let the world know. It's fine.
Okay.
Here's the next one. Where do football players go when they need a new uniform? New Jersey. You know why I had to do that one? That's my home state.
That's cute.
All right, here you go. What happens to football players when they go blind? Ironically, nothing intended here, but what happens to football players when they go blind? Anybody? They become referees.
Oh.
That one Sandra approved. That one is Sandra. I got Sandra's stamp of approval on that one. So, how is losing money in a payphone like a football game? If you don't get the quarterback, you hit the receiver.
Okay.
All right. First of all, this one we may lose a few listeners on this next one, Val. What do you call 53 millionaires around a TV watching the Super Bowl? The Dallas Cowboys. Oh, come on. Wait a minute. Truth be told, as much as I love my Giants, I could have also put the Giants in there, the Jets in there. I could have put anybody in there, but it came up Cowboys, so I was okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. After my Kiwanis meeting this morning, that is so fitting because they said that the Dallas Cowboys have 1.3% chance of getting into the Super Bowl.
1.3.
Oh, 1.3. And they're applauding that there is an opportunity. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. They buy tickets. That'll be the only way. What's the difference between the poor, inconsistent football team and a dollar bill? You can still get 4 quarters out of a dollar bill. Okay, that one not. Yeah. Oh, you like that one?
Andy is liking yours. Just by.
Oh, he's liking these today. All right.
He is commenting.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. What is harder to catch the faster you run? your breath. Nah, okay. Why do ballet dancers make such good NFL kickers? They know how to split the uprights. Hey, I just read them. I don't write them. I'm good, Val. No hiding, Val. Let it out, Val. It's okay. It's good for the soul.
It finally. Sorry.
Oh, and I got Kathy's dad. Oh, David. Oh, that's good. I like that. All right. I'm going to do a disclaimer. If you're listening to bad dad jokes while driving, you may want to pull over. Okay.
That's true.
How are scrambled eggs like a losing football team? They've both been beaten.
A little bit.
Yeah, you like that one too. All right, couple more. I know we're running overtime, John. Thank you. Why did the football referee have trouble measuring the first down?
Couldn't see.
Someone was yanking his chain. Oh, these are good. I like these. These are saucy today. Hey, here's a good one. This is a classic. Why did the football player cross the field? Because he wanted to get to the other side. Last but not least, Chief's loving them. Thanks, Chief. Love you, buddy. Last one, and I say this with all due respect to my dear friend Ricky Cash, who's up in heaven 3.5 years. Here you go. What does JETS stand for? Just end the season. With that, we're ending the show, right? Is that perfect? That's it for this week's Bad Dad Jokes, courtesy of football. They were good today. A couple saucy ones in there, too.
Those are awesome.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming on today. Talk a little bit about Division 14, and let's make a connection between what we do here and the Foundation for Fighting Blindness. Why don't we do that?
Thank you.
Sounds great to me.
Excellent. Sandra, thank you for coming in. Enduring this craziness on Kiwanis Connects.
I enjoy it.
Val, final thoughts.
You know, I always look around, and I'm so absolutely grateful for the opportunity to reach across so many lines of communication and barriers and share some very special information. And so, Sandra, having you on today, and Kimberly finding out more about a different district than the one. I don't belong to the Capital District. It's one of the few that I don't belong to in the club. I belong to 13.
Which one do you want to join? I'll sponsor you.
Andy's watching. No.
Okay.
But
I owe that to him for this Oregon comment.
We'll talk. But I just want to say it is an amazing thing. You know, Kiwanis is in 84 countries around the world, and we are touching people's lives. And this is one of those things that it's a universal thing that touches people's lives. So I'm thankful for you. So.
Right on.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Val. All right, with that, everybody, thank you for watching another edition of Kiwanis Connects. If you want to go back and revisit any information, you can go back to the videos on Facebook, YouTube. A couple of days, go up to Roku. Remember, you got to download the WWDBTV channel to Roku first, and then you can watch till your cows come home, if you'd like, to all the shows that are up there. As always, be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. With that, this show is adjourned.